עצוב.
כן. חיילים אלמונים.
כן.
רגע. תספרי עד 5.
להתחיל? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
תסתכלי כאילו שאני יושב פה.
להתחיל?
כן, רגע.
תגיד לי מתי להתחיל.
אוקיי. אחלה.
בסדר.
So we're going to do it in English.
בסדר, wonderful.
So today is March
The
5th?
5th,
March 25th, 2018.
Right.
And we're at the home of Ann Newman.
My
in Detroit, Michigan, in Southfield?
No, in Oak Park.
In Oak Park, sorry.
That's Park. Okay. I'll tell you why. Here I'm known, my name is Hannah in English. Hannah Yocheved Newman. And in Poland, it was Anja. So my husband was a real American, and he decided that Ann would be better than Hannah.
Ann, A-N-N.
That's it.
No Anna, Ann.
Ann.
Ann, tell me where you were born, when you were born, where you were born, and what kind of household you grew up in.
Okay. I was born in Poland. The name of the little town was Zaklikov. Zaklikov was very small. If they were maybe, was already big, 400 families. In those days, Jews were not allowed to own anything.
Which part of Poland is
it was Eastern Europe.
Eastern Poland?
Yeah.
Like
it was,
Galicia?
No, it wasn't Galicia. It was on the border of Ukraine, okay. Ukraina. In
so
Polish,
near Lviv?
Lvov, Lemberg was.
Lemberg, yeah.
Yeah, Lemberg.
Yeah. Was that around? Was that nearby?
Nearby,
okay.
Yeah. In those days, nearby, you had to take the train at night. That was nearby. Here nearby is a hop and a skip, you know.
Right.
And so I was born there. My mother was a seamstress.
Mm-hmm.
My
what was her name?
Her name was Shoshana.
Shoshana.
But we called her.
What is your maiden name?
My maiden name is Roseanne.
Roseanne. Okay. So your mother is a streamsis.
She's a stream, and her maiden name was Seidenfeld. It was a German Seidenfeld, and she married my dad as a shidduch. She didn't know him. But she didn't want to get married when she was 17. Right. So she told her father, I'm going to wait. I said, I'll do what you say, but I'm 17. She went to visit her grandmother in Lodz. And she was 11 years old, and that's when the First World War broke out. Yeah. So Zaklikov was, at the time, by the Austrians, by Austria, Österreich.
So you were actually, where you were born was actually part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire.
Correct.
There was no Poland. It was Russia or Germany or.
It was Austria.
Austro-Hungarian.
We called it.
So Lemberg was actually probably the biggest city near you guys.
Lublin.
Lublin. Okay.
Yeah, Chachmei Lublin. Mm-hmm. It was called Chachmei Lublin, and my father was from a little. Kfar, what do you call it?
A village.
A village. The name was, he was born in Potek.
Okay.
You know, there is a big guy that wrote the book, The Chosen, Chaim Potek. And
The Chosen.
The Chosen, sure. The book Chosen was written by Chaim Potek. Yeah. My father, may rest in peace, when their contract ended up, they leased a mill and a lumber yard, Tartak. And so they had to leave Potek, and they went nearby to another village called Stoyeshin. In Yiddish it's Stoshin, but it was called Stoyeshin, and there were only 2 families. This is how it was. Everything was leased from the Lord, Mehaparitz. And so my grandfather looked for a shidduch for my ma, and there shouldn't be people that were red because they had a bad temper. She had her. My grandfather, may rest in peace, Rab Shaya Yeshayahu. They made a shidduch, and she was outside. I'll tell you the story. And one of the neighbors came over and says, Rishala, her Yiddish name was Risha, from Polish name Róża. Mm-hmm. It's Shoshana.
Rouge is red, no?
No, rouge in Polish, no. Róża is Shoshana. Róża. It's a Polish name.
Okay.
And her Yiddish name was Risha, and her Hebrew name was Shoshana. It's a rose. Mm-hmm. And so she locked herself up, and the grandfather says, I gave my word. You know, by Jews, if you give, he says, I gave my word and I gave Handkeskaf. He gave his hand. So she says, I will not shame you. I will abide by what you want me to do, and I'll get married, but I want to wait for 3 years. He says, 3 years? He says, I'm telling you, I'm 17, I don't want to get married yet. I'm too young. So she waited. My father, why did she say, I asked her, Ima, why did you say 3 years? I called her in Hebrew, Ima. I didn't call her Mama. I called her Ima. And she says, I thought he would get tired waiting. But he waited.
He didn't. And this is your father.
That's my father. And she got married. And make a long story short.
He waited 3 years.
He waited 3 years.
Were they religious? Were they?
Yeah, my grandfather was.
No, your parents.
They were religious in Europe. They were not so religious in Israel. What do you mean by religious? You didn't ride on Shabbos. You kept kosher. You didn't work on Shabbos. The only thing that they didn't do, they didn't go every Shabbos to shul.
Okay.
If somebody came to speak, you know, in Poland,
sure.
They came to speak, and they announced it who's coming to speak. So they went. And the same thing in Israel.
Sure. What is your birth? Where's your birthday?
My birthday is July the 2nd, 1928.
July the 2nd, 1928. So when you're born, you're actually born in the newly formed state of Poland.
Correct.
Poland has become a state after the First World War, and you're born in this.
That's right, 1928.
In what city? And where are you born?
Zaklikov.
Zaklikov.
It's in Polish. It's Zaklikov.
Are you the middle, oldest, youngest?
Youngest.
You're the youngest.
I'm the youngest.
Out of how many children?
Three. Two brothers.
Two brothers.
Pesach.
Pesach?
Pesach, my older brother's name was Pesach. I only knew him as Pesach. And my younger brother, the second one, was Yitzchak.
Yitzchak.
Pesach.
Hold on a second. I'm just going to close this. Just a second. I am actually going to do it, what you told me.
Do you know how to do it?
I am going to. No.
Yes. No.
No, sit down.
Joshua,
Yeah.
you do it here. Do it here. That.
This?
Yes. No, not this. No. Where you neck a second hand. No.
This?
Yes.
What do I do with this?
No. You know, Joshua, look at me. Where you have your hand,
Yeah.
twist it like this. Right. See this? Twist it all the way. Twist it all the way. It's close. The other way, this way.
Right?
Not the other way.
It's getting, hold on a second.
Okay, that's fine. Done.
There we go. Okay, sorry about that.
It's a little bit tricky.
It's a little bit, but we're fine. Mm-hmm. So Pesach is your older brother?
Yeah, and my middle brother is Yitzchak.
Yitzchak.
Yeah.
Pesach, Yitzchak.
I know who Yitzchak was. Pesach, I know, was my great-grandfather because my grandfather's name was Yeshayahu, and they used to call him Shai Pesach.
Shai Pesach.
That means he belongs to Pesach. That used to be my grandfather. So when my brother was born in 1922, must be that my great-grandfather was not alive, and I wasn't born yet. He was born in 1922,
And what about Yitzhak? When was Yitzhak born?
1924.
1924, and you were born 19... So you're basically kind of like the princess.
The princess.
No, you're the youngest, you're the only girl, you're like...
Well,
I'm not going to use the word princess, but you
My-
definitely...
It was very important in Europe and in Israel, family. Mishpucha is mishpucha, mishpacha. And so I was the youngest. My older brother taught me how to ride a bicycle. We had one bicycle.
What did your parents do? What kind of household are you brought up in?
Okay. My father, I was born in 28. I can only tell you what I remember. In 1931, I believe it was January, in 1930, my father went to Belgium, didn't like it, and he came back. And in 1931, he went to Palestine. So my mother says, what are you going there? It's shmama. was forced to do it.
חול וחולרה.
כן. אז הוא נסע. Tel Aviv was young, he was just, and he left in 1931. We had an apartment, so when he left, my
You
mother...
had an apartment where?
In Zaklikov. And my mother gave it up because in Poland at the time, Jews were not allowed to own anything. Number one, they weren't allowed to own land or apartments or business, nothing. Number two, they weren't allowed to go to school. Only my generation, the government said that you can go to school. So my grandparents, my mother, my uncles, my aunts, they never went to school. They didn't know how to read or write. My mother learned how to read and write Yiddish and a little bit of Polish. My dad, the same thing. Everybody there, they didn't know how to read or write. And so she worked as a seamstress with my aunt, my great aunt in Lodz. And she was she was very quick. So she worked in Lodz. My father was already in Tel Aviv. And I and my two brothers moved in with my grandparents. They were very pious. They were very Orthodox. So I know Orthodoxism from my grandparents, not my parents.
Why did your father have this urge to leave Poland?
Because he was a madrich.
מה זה מדריך?
Madrich, he was in charge of a group of Beitarim Bezaklikov.
So your father was affiliated with the movement of Beitar.
Oh yeah, of Jabotinsky. He knew Jabotinsky well. As a matter of fact, Jabotinsky was he was exiled in 1929 to Lublin. From Lublin, he went to Warsaw. My uncle Ben Sion worked for him. He married my Aunt Chaya, and Jabotinsky gave him a certificate. He helped my father get a certificate for us through Jabotinsky to come to Israel.
So your father is active within
Beitar.
And
the revisionist party.
Just for the record, his name again, your father's full name?
Aharon Eliezer was his full name, but we called him Eliezer.
And his last name?
Rosen.
Rosen.
His name was, my mother used to call him Yiddish, loser, was Eliezer. She didn't like the name Aharon.
Okay.
So she called him by the second name.
And what is your father's profession besides being active in Beitar?
Okay.
Huh?
He and his brothers looked at forests and told my grandfather, Yecheskel, how much meter they can take out from that forest. And they sold it to a Gentile. So they were very well known as how to...
like surveyors?
Like surveyors. But my dad, my father, was a carpenter at the same time.
Right.
When you say what type of house, they were wretched little homes. It's hard to describe what is inside.
So
We were poor, so we didn't have a floor.
okay.
We didn't even have the dark. We had chol, היה לנו חול, because it was expensive to buy the dark.
Yeah.
That was in Zaklikov.
Yeah.
I tell you more about Israel because I was 8.5 when we left.
Wait a minute. Before
Sure.
you get to then Palestine,
Yeah.
so your father goes to Palestine in 1931. He buys an apartment in Tel Aviv.
Didn't buy anything.
Or he
Just
didn't. He just
rented a room together with another guy. They both lived in a room.
What was his job? Why did he go to Palestine?
Because it was Eretz Israel.
Okay.
It was run by the British.
Right.
Why did he go to Palestine? Because he was...
why did he leave his family and go to Why did he?
Because okay,
The British weren't.
no. In Poland, for young people, there was nothing. And he was more a forward thinker because he was a revisionist, and he was more, most of his family, they were 12 kids. 3 didn't survive, so they were 6 brothers and 3 girls. And they looked to get out of Poland. They didn't think, okay, when was the big Aliyah? Was when Hitler became chancellor.
33, yeah.
In 1933.
Yeah.
And my father said to my ma in Yiddish, you understand Yiddish? A little bit. Wische, dus is nicht kaplatz für Jiden. If Hitler, ich kann nicht lieb, was Hitler macht. Hat nicht gelot. I'm talking English. He didn't allow people to practice any of, they didn't go to school. Then the Polish government said you can go to school already. That was in the 30s, the late 20s. And so my 2 brothers went to Cheder. And my mother, because she worked in lodge, was more, said, if my father went to Israel, the boys need to know Hebrew. So she found somebody, his name was Shechman, that spoke Hebrew, and he taught my 2 brothers Hebrew. So when they came to Israel, they spoke a little bit of Hebrew.
Do you remember your early childhood in Poland without your father?
Yes, of course.
You knew of him?
I knew of him. I was 2.5 when he left.
Yeah. So he is in Tel Aviv, active in Beitar in Tel Aviv?
I don't know.
You don't know?
He worked.
He worked.
Because he was a revisionist, and he didn't have a red pinkas, which is Mapai, Mefleget Polei Eretz Israel, he couldn't get a job because he was not a member of the left.
Of the left.
And so he worked in Bet Nabala,
okay.
and he worked in Beit Shan.
In Beit Shan.
And it was and then in order to make a little bit more money so he could bring us, I'll tell you, he worked also in the Red Sea. He worked in Sdom.
In Sdom, at the Dead Sea.
The Dead Sea.
Dead Sea, yeah. Now,
Go ahead.
the date that you guys immigrate to Palestine, you, your mother, and your 2 brothers, when you're 8 years old.
8.5, 1930, in September of 36, we spent the high holidays on the boat.
Do you remember the name of the boat? Do you remember
Sure, Polania.
Huh?
Polania.
That was the name of the boat, Polania, and it left from what harbor?
From Romania.
Constanza?
Either Constantinople or Bucharest. I don't know which one.
Okay, so you guys went down from Poland to Romania. Do you remember the journey?
Yes, by train.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you who paid for it. I had a rich aunt that my mother worked for in lodge. She had a partner who was not Jewish, so that's how she was able to save some money. In 1934, she said to my mother, Risha, ich will fuhren nach Israel. Ich will sehen, was dort ist. Ich habe nicht lieb, was Hitler macht mit den Juden in Polen. My aunt never went to school, never knew how to read or write, spoke Yiddish and Polish, but was a wonderful seamstress and had a salon, they call it salon. And so she and a friend, her and her husband, and a friend and his wife, Breitbart, Leon Breitbart, they went to Tel Aviv. They went to Eretz Israel. And they fell in love with the house on Balfour Street, Pinat HaChadam, Balfour 40.
Balfour, Pinat, okay, I know exactly where that is.
אתה יודע איפה פיטמן?
אני יודע בדיוק איפה זה.
כן.
אחד העם בלפור, אני יודע בדיוק איפה זה.
כן. זה היה הבית של הדודה שלי.
אוקיי.
50% שלה, ו50% מישהו אחר. What's her neighbor? She met my father, and she said, I want you to run the house. So she gave him a room, and he had a partner by the name of Reuben, and both of them had a room. And when we came to Israel in 1936, we had a place where to stay.
Wow.
So what my father did...
Right off of Schenken Street.
Right after Schenken, yes. Schenken and Rothschild was our bank. We were Achadam and Balfour.
Okay.
And so my father it was a big room, he did a mechitza. Mm-hmm. So the 5 of us were in half the room. And the other half, there was another mechitza because there was a couple, Sala Honigbaum, she just had gotten married from Zaklikov, didn't have a place where to stay, but had money. Her father was pretty
well
off. Bought her a certificate you could buy if he had the money. For my parents, we didn't have money. We went on a steerage on the bottom. My aunt bought the tickets. And so we lived in one room ולא היה מטבח משותף. Didn't have a kitchen. So I learned when I was young how to cook.
When you get off the boat in 1936, right?
My father came back to Poland.
To get you guys.
Right, that's how it was.
Okay, so he went back, packed everything up with you guys, and did the journey with you guys back to Palestine.
Correct.
You get off the boat in Palestine, in Haifa.
Mm-hmm.
What do you see? Are you prepared for this?
No, of course not. I was a kid. I was 8.5.
What are your first memories of seeing Israel?
You know what? I loved Tel Aviv because in Haifa, we took the bus and we came to Tel Aviv. And compared to the wretched houses in Europe, where I stayed with my grandparents, you have to appreciate my grandparents had nothing. Mm-hmm. There was no floor because they couldn't afford to buy the dark chomra. They bought chol, and not every place. We cooked only one oven.
Are you talking about in Poland?
Yes.
Yeah.
So when we came to Israel, listen, we weren't allowed to share the kitchen because 2 women, 2 sisters and a brother had the 2 rooms. There was a 3.
So you were living like the 5 of you were all living in this
right.
room.
So until Reuben and the other couple found a place.
Right,
and maybe they stayed with us 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, until they found it.
But what are your first memories of Tel Aviv? I mean, you get there as a child. You're 8 years old.
I loved.
There's the beach.
The Sderot. Who went to the beach? Sderot Rothschild.
Okay.
The beach was too far away.
It was too far away.
Too far away. It was too far away. We loved the Sderot.
Sderot Rothschild.
Sderot Rothschild. And Sderot Rothschild was part grass and part sand, and that's where I played.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't go to school because there was no room in Balfour. Balfour, there was a school.
Exactly where the school is, yeah.
Balfour Yochanan Sandlar.
Absolutely.
And the Menahelet, her name was Giveret Harari.
Mm-hmm.
Her grandson, I met in Detroit at David Hermelin's house.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you the story.
Not yet.
Not
I wanna.
So my mother took me there, and she was a Russian. She was very strong.
Your mother?
No, Giveret Harari.
Harari.
My mother was not so strong because she didn't speak Hebrew. She had to speak with her in Yiddish.
But Giveret Harari is the woman who's running the school?
Correct.
She's the principal?
Menahelet.
Menahelet. Tichon Balfour. But not Tichon, Yesodi.
Yesodi. Yeah. One from.
So there was no room in the school for you, and you came in the middle of the year too.
Right.
So it's a problem.
So she said to my mother, "En makom." And she spoke a little bit in Yiddish. So she said to my mother in Hebrew, "En makom, יכולה ללכת על הגג." ככה היא אמרה. So my father didn't have much work because there wasn't much work. So my mother went to work by the day.
Where?
Different places.
Places wherever she could find work.
Yeah, whoever needed somebody for a day to cook, to clean, to wash. They didn't know when they found out where she worked that she knows how to sew, they said, "We don't want you to clean, we just want you to be toferet."
Yeah.
So it was easier for her.
And it's funny because Rehov Shenkin is a Rehov shel Sandlarim v'Tofrim.
נכון. But the house was on Rehov Balfour Achadam. And so my mother worked there. They found out that he toferet. She went to work by the day as a toferet. So she made a little bit more money. And she didn't want my dad to work in Sdom. He took to go to Sdom in those days.
Even today.
You took your life in your hands.
Even today. It's like going into the frontier and digging.
But they paid you a lot of money and you stayed there for, in some cases, 2 weeks or a month.
Yeah.
It depends, you know.
Is your father, okay, so you're 8 and your brothers...
8 and a half.
8 and a half, and your brothers are older, they're like 15, 16, 17?
My older brother was 6 years older than me.
Right, so he's 14.
Yeah, and the other one, he had finished school in Poland.
Yeah.
And my other brother, Itzik, was 2 years...
Younger than him.
And 4 years younger than me.
Right.
So how did they know when I was born? I'll tell you the story. When my father thought he was getting a certificate, we can come in 34, he wrote to my mother in Yiddish that she needs to go to the city hall with 2 witnesses to say when I was born, because there was nothing. So the 2 witnesses that I was born July 2nd, 1928. And it fell through and we didn't go. So she didn't want to pay the money to take out the birth certificate. In 1936, for sure he had a certificate. My uncle Ben Sino was ready in Israel, Tel Aviv, בפלורנטין. הוא גר בפלורנטין. אתה יודע איפה פלורנטין? הוא היה גר בפלורנטין.
דוד שלך?
הדוד שלי. הוא הבעל של אחות של האימא שלי. והוא עזר לאבא שלי, הוא גם כן היה בית"רי, והוא אומר, אני אכתוב לוורשה.
To get the certificates.
כן. אחר כך הוא נסע לארצות הברית. הוא עזב את ורשה. הוא היה קודם באנגליה, מפולניה, מישראל, from Israel, he went to Poland. From Poland, he moved to Warsaw. From Warsaw, he moved to England, and from England, he came to the States.
I want to get back to your family. So you arrive in Palestine in 1936. You arrive in Palestine right when the Arab revolt is starting, 36 to 39.
Yeah. They called it in Hebrew מאורעות.
מאורעות, 36.
נכון. כל 3 שנים היו מאורעות.
So you're young, you're 8 years old.
I'll tell you something.
Yeah. It's the Arab revolt of 36, 39.
Correct. My Aunt Heike and Ben Zion, her husband,
The ones
and
who
they
lived in
had
Florentine.
lived in Florentine, had a little girl, Miriam. They moved to Balfour because it was very dangerous, my mother insisted.
Because they're on the edge of Jaffa.
Correct.
They're very close to Jaffa.
We had to go derech Yafo to derech Yafo
Derech Yafo.
Tel Aviv Yafo.
Tel Aviv Yafo.
קראו לזה דרך תל אביב יפו.
Yeah, and that was very...
כש...
Do you remember any incidents of that?
Of course.
Yeah?
Of course. They infiltrated to Tel Aviv, and they stopped you in the street. Mostly when we say Tel Aviv was very small.
Sure.
And what they first built Tel Aviv was from Herzl down.
Right.
Okay? And so they said, אני רוצה אש.
Who would say this?
Walked over to you and says, תן לי אש. יש לך אש?
מי אומר את זה?
מישהו ניגש אליך.
יהודי?
לא ידעו. מפני שהרבה ספרדים נראו, קוראים בהם ספרדים עדות מזרח, they looked like Arabs.
Okay.
So,
יש לך אש?
אז הוא הלך להוציא אש, אז הוא קיבל סכין. אז כבר ידעו שמישהו, אז היו קרוזים ברחוב, לא לבקש אש.
Is your household
in Tel Aviv, in Balfour.
Is it political?
Yes, my father was, we were revisionists. We didn't have what we call Pinkas Adom.
I understand. But is this ideology dripping into you slowly from your father, are your brothers also affiliated?
When I was 10, I joined Beitar.
Tell me about that, please.
And I liked their uniforms. They were brown. They were on Metzuda, was on Melech King George.
It was on King George Street,
right.
exactly.
And
King
once,
George and Har Zion.
Yeah. Who remembers?
So you are 10 years old and you joined Beitar, you joined the youth movement.
Yes, I was in Bitzror Herzliya.
Okay.
And was there 3 years.
So 10, 11, 12, 13?
14.
14?
When I was 14, I joined Etzel. Jürgen Zweil and me.
So wait, okay, so
I was in Sror Herzliya, and I...
where was your, Ken, איפה היה הקן שלך?
מה זאת אומרת?
כן, את בתנועת נוער של בית"ר.
כן, ברחוב במצודה. במצודה ברחוב קינג ג'ורג', נכון.
And you're there until, what do you guys do there? What are your activities?
They were telling us about Machon Jabotinsky. You went there once a week or once every, I don't remember.
He just died also. He had also just passed away.
Later.
Well, he died in 1940.
40, yeah. Right, yeah. But we came to Israel in 36. We didn't know about Jabotinsky too much other than it was Beitar. We knew it was Brit Trumpeldor. זה בית"ר. זה ראשי תיבות, בית"ר.
של ברית?
טרומפלדור. הוא הרי נהרג בתל חי.
כן.
So we were taught Israeli history. They referred a lot to the Tanakh, Torah, Nevi'im, וכתובים, and also in school we had Tanakh. Every day, 2 hours. Tanakh. I was surprised later that they taught Tanakh and they didn't change anything. That's one thing I have to say about Israel. They did not change any of our history. In the Machon Jabotinsky, we learned about what's the difference between Beitari. We were not communists. We were not socialists. We were Jews. There was a big difference. The left of Israel in those days was extremely left. We called Haifa Ha'aduma. It was red. When it was the 1st of May, you didn't recognize Tel Aviv. Everybody walked out with a red flag. They wore red. It was awful. Okay, and we weren't like that. And so...
Are you able to talk freely that you're a member of Beitar?
No.
Not of the Etzel. I'm not talking about the Etzel. I'm talking about Beitar.
Etzel came in 1935. In Beitar...
45. 45.
35. Jabotinsky started it in Europe.
Right. But you don't join Etzel until later.
Yes, but I'm saying Etzel started in 35.
And David Raziel was the first commander, correct?
Before
Begin. David Raziel.
Begin was in...
Begin was in Siberia then.
Siberia.
Begin wasn't around.
No, Siberia.
The gulags.
צפון סיביריה.
But,
הוא הגיע לישראל.
אנחנו נגיע לזה, זה אני יודע, אבל the first commander of the Etzel is David Raziel.
David Raziel.
Who was killed in Iraq.
נכון. You know how he was killed? You don't know?
No.
Okay. Whew. He didn't want to go to Iraq. It's in Cairo. When the difference was, he was killed already when there was Etzel, by the way.
Yes.
And the reason is that the difference, there was a pilug, the Jabotinsky, Begin, היה במחבוא. He said not to fight the British as long as there's World War II.
Begin said this.
Right. Stern said...
It was like, this is the time to do it, actually.
Correct.
Right.
Stern says we need Gdud Yehudi.
Yeah.
And they didn't want to allow the Jews to have a brigade. And he wanted the Jewish brigade to go to Italy. From Italy, they would infiltrate to Europe and try to save some Jews. So it took a long time. Finally, they gave in, the British. Labriut. And so they gave in with stipulations. I can tell you, I don't know. I don't think they wrote it.
But David Raziel wanted to have a gdud with the British Army, or he didn't? He did.
Yes.
He wanted to...
רצו...
כן. שטרן לא רצה.
שטרן כן רצה. לא. הוא פרש בגלל ש... אני אגיד את זה בעברית. הוא פרש בגלל שבגין נתן פקודה. הוא עוד לא היה בישראל אז. הוא הרי הגיע בישראל...
עם אנדרס.
הוא היה באנדרס ארמי. אז שחררו אותו מסיביריה בגלל אנדרס ארמי, בגלל זה היה משהו, הם עשו אנשלוס, agreement with Stalin.
Yeah.
With Stalin and Hitler. So make a long story short, it took a year or two. It's okay.
Wait, I have your microphone.
See who it is.
Hold on.
Yeah, let's see who that is. Who is it? Who's this? Yes, Yvette, yes. I'm okay. Okay, so don't come. Okay. That's okay, no problem. Okay. Feel better, okay? Okay, sweetie. I have somebody here. Yeah, okay, thanks. She was supposed to come and do the laundry. She'll come tomorrow, big deal. So, הפילוג היה, I'll tell you in Hebrew.
הפילוג היה בגלל שבגין אמר שאסור, עכשיו שיש מלחמה, לא לתקוף את הבריטים ולהרפות. שטרן אמר, לא, זה הזמן להכות בבריטים שהם חלשים.
נכון.
ואז היה את הפילוג.
אבל עוד דבר אחד היה. בריטניה לא נתנה שיהיה גדוד יהודי.
כן.
ללכת, להילחם.
כן.
לא נתנה. זה לקח הרבה זמן. בסופו של דבר, שכחתי איך אמרו את זה בעברית. אנחנו רצינו צבא יהודי.
נכון.
והם לא נתנו לנו. הם עשו תכף, עוד דבר הם עשו. הם עשו an Anschluss agreement יחד עם יפן, ואז התקיפו, במלחמת העולם השנייה, התקיפו את ארצות הברית, את הוואי, בכדי לסחוב את אמריקה.
בתוך המלחמה. אבל מה שאני מדבר עליו עכשיו, אני רוצה, זה דוד רזיאל. את אמרת שהוא לא רצה לנסוע לבגדד, ושאלת אותי...
לא לבגדד, לקיירו.
לא, אבל הוא נהרג בעיראק.
נכון, אבל הוא היה צריך לנסוע קודם לקהיר. ושם הרגו אותו.
בקהיר?
בקהיר הרגו
לא
אותו.
בבגדד?
לא.
מי הרג אותו?
הערבים.
הערבים.
האנגלים.
So it was a setup?
Of course.
They set him up?
Of course they said it didn't take long. אני אומרת לך, קשה לי לזכור כל כך הרבה שנים.
כן.
אמרו לא שבט, איך אמרו את זה? הם רצו שישראל שיהיה להם גדוד, והם לא נתנו. אחר כך, אחרי שכבר נתנו, לא יכולים לנסוע ישר לאיטליה, צריך קודם לנסוע לאימונים בעיראק. אז דוד רזיאל נסע. ואז הם עשו את זה בכוונה, הרגו אותו. תראה, איך עשו את זה לארן ארנסון, הטורקים? איזה שטויות. הם אמרו הרי, שלחו אותו להיות נציג, הנציג אחר כך היה נציג חדש, הרבט סמיול. מי סידר את זה? חבל לי להגיד את זה, זה היה בן גוריון. בן גוריון עבד עם הבריטים. מה שנכון זה נכון, אם אתה רוצה לדעת את האמת. כן. אז אם אתה היית ימני, זה היה איום ונורא. לקחת את החיים בידיים. בגין ישב בצפון סיביריה, כשהם גילו שהוא חבר באנדרי זרמיה, שחררו אותו. הוא הגיע לישראל והוא התחבא בתור יהודי אדוק. היה לו זקן, איזה שטויות. אתה יודע, אני לא זוכרת את זה, זה כבר הרבה שנים, אבל אז, כשהגיע אלטלנה, הם הפליגו מוויטקין לתל אביב. אתה יודע איפה הם נעצרו? בים, מול פארק הוטל. בדיוק הייתי בארוחת בוקר צהריים עם רודי. זה כבר היה ב-48.
יוני 48, אנחנו נגיע לזה, אני רוצה לאט לאט. פורצת מלחמת העולם השנייה. Second World War breaks out in 1939.
September the 5th.
First. Do you guys have any contact with family members back in Poland? Are you...
Yes, through the Red Cross. We received information from the Red Cross. As long as the Red Cross, we were able to send letters. And then when he went into deep Poland, it stopped. Okay. And we knew, then we heard he made an agreement with Duccio Mussolini. Yeah. And he also made an agreement with Yamamoto from Japan to attack the United States, to bring America into... He felt that if America gets into the war, and though I can remember what we were thinking about that, I'll tell you in a minute. In 1942, my brother Pesach was kidnapped. In 44,
Your brother was kidnapped?
My brother, yes.
How old was he?
1942, 20.
Who was he kidnapped by?
אליהו סחרוב ואחי עשיו בהגנה. You wanted to know the truth?
Yeah.
That's who kidnapped him.
Why would they kidnap him? Because he was a member of Etzel?
He was a member of Lehi.
Of Lehi.
The Stern group.
And they kidnapped him? From where?
From the house. Here's what happened. They rang the doorbell. I was in school. I was still in school.
They rang the doorbell?
And they said, אנחנו רוצים לדבר עם פסח רוזן. אז הוא אמר, אני פסח רוזן. אז לקחו אותו ועזבו. We didn't know for 10 days where he was. Okay, that's number one. And let me tell you something. לקחו אותו לפרדס חנה, נודע לנו אחר כך. In about 10 days or 2 weeks, to the date, a policeman came to the house and says that Pesach הוא בכלא ביפו. כשהלכת ליפו בתל אביב, לקחת דרך תל אביב, there was a big clock. Behind the clock, there was a...
in Jaffa, yeah.
In Jaffa.
Yeah, I know exactly.
I knew very well because I went to school in the English high school for girls. I always was derech Jaffa Tel Aviv, where the CID was, and then on top, the hill was the German colony. And so when I went to the, I'll show you how. When I took my mother, we went to the לכלא. ופסח עמד ככה, עם הידיים מאחורנית. אז האמא שלי אמרה, פסח, was hältst du die Hand? sagte, אמא, du wirst nicht sehen meine Hand. הוא היה תלוי על העץ בפרדס חנה, אז הידיים שלו היו מאוד נפוחות. והוא אמר לאמא שלי לא לדאוג, הוא אומר, אז היא שאלה אותו, why do you have your hands? I'm going to speak in it. Why is it so, why are they so thick? So he says he was hung on the trees in בפרדס חנה, and he קיבל הרבה עינויים, and they tortured him like they torture in the Turkish people. Sarah Aronson took her life because of that. She didn't want to be, she knew if she will be tortured, she'll speak. So that's when she shot herself and didn't succeed. It took 4 days. היא הייתה גוססת 4 ימים. And so after my brother didn't speak, a lot of boys, there were 50 boys, זו הייתה הלשנה. כן, אתה רוצה להאמין או לא להאמין, זו הייתה הלשנה של השמאל. How do we know it was אחי אסף and what's his name did I say, and Sakharov? It so happens that last name of Sakharov, that's his last name. His sister הייתה גברת שלוש, הייתה גרה בבלפור 42, ואימא שלי עשתה לה שמלות. And when all this was over, she says that Sakharov, her family name is Sakharov, and her brother, Eliyahu Sakharov, you know. Certain names I remember, his name was Eliyahu Sakharov, and he was a member of the Haganah. It was a big stinking deal. Do you know who organized the Haganah? A British guy. Do you know? No. His name was, they sent him to Chabash, to Abyssinia. It'll come to me. They brought him from England. He was a Christian.
What, Wingate?
Howard Wingate.
Wingate.
Yes.
Well, he didn't, well, that was earlier in the late 30s. He was at Plugot Asal. He helped them form their night. No.
He was brought, this is what we were told in Beitar, maybe it was wrong, but I can tell you that he was brought in 33 to organize the Haganah.
Okay.
They split their, who split it, I don't remember, but they gave part to the Jews, very small sliver to the Jews, and they gave...
Appeal Commission.
Could be. This was before 47.
Yeah, I'm talking about 38, something like that. The Appeal Commission, 37.
No, earlier.
Okay.
Yeah, earlier. You're talking about in the 30s.
Yeah.
You're right, it's the 30s,
yeah.
but it's the earlier 30s.
Okay.
And the guy that was in, so he brought, okay, why did it called Haganah? להגן on the borders. was all English. It was done by the British. The British didn't do much themselves. Everything was done by their people that they had.
Right.
I'm so sorry to say that.
Right, yeah.
They did everything, קראנו לזה בעברית, בכפפות לבנות. And
So they didn't get their hands dirty.
that's right. And so my brother, after he was released...
Wait, that's exactly what I wanted to ask you. Your brother, how long was he in jail? Like, how long was he in jail for?
My brother,
Yeah.
he was not in jail. It was called a political detainee.
Okay.
In English, because
Yeah,
it was
how long was he there for? How long was he detained for?
5.5 years.
He was detained for 5.5 years?
Yeah, that's what I was going to tell you. When,
Where? Was he in Latur?
I'll tell you in a minute.
Okay,
You're jumping.
sorry.
The first place he went was Mesra. You know Mesra? I know you don't. There was a political detainee by the British called Mesra. He was in Mesra maybe a year. From Mesra, they moved him to Latrun. He was in Latrun. Shamir escaped from Latrun.
Right.
Yeah, Yitzhak Iznitsky. New name was Yitzhak Shamir. He escaped from there, so they sent the boys. They could only, if they didn't, in Zelo Haya Plili, if they didn't have a, they sent him to Akko. So my brother was 6 months in Akko. From Akko, they sent him to Eritrea.
Okay.
From Eritrea, it was Asmara. When the British sent people from London to give the, from Scotland Yard, to give the test, a few chevre that served in the British Army in the IRF, knew how to fly, took the airplane, disappeared. They brought him back. At that point, this was in Eritrea, they sent him to Nairobi, Kenya. My brother was in Nairobi. So he was taken in June. I was in school when כשחטפו אותו. In June of 40, in June of, I'll tell you in a minute.
46, 7?
Oh, no, much earlier, 42.
That's when they kidnapped him.
Yes, in 42, and he was released at the end of 47. We knew at that time that there'll be something is going on, that there'll be something that they'll give to Israel, because they started to release the boys from Nairobi. Okay, they kidnapped altogether at the beginning 50 kids, 50 boys. A lot of them spoke, a lot of them didn't. Yosef Nikolaevsky couldn't take the
torture?
The torture, אז הוא דיבר. ונתן שמות. אחי לא דיבר.
But also the Lehi was such a small movement.
I'll tell you how many there were in the Lehi.
People at the peak.
At the peak, 850.
850?
Yes.
In 48, 47.
Yes.
But at the time that your brother was there,
Oh yeah, it was the beginning.
So small.
היה פילוג ב-41.
כן, כן. אני מדבר שבלח"י באותו הזמן שתפסו את אח שלך, המספר היה כל כך קטן. קטן, 200 איש אולי.
אני אגיד לך, החבר שלו יוסף ניקולאייסקי, היה לו חבר יוסף רזניצקי, היה גר על ידינו. Those people I knew, so that's who they are.
But the Lehi was built in a way that you didn't know other people who were in the Lehi.
That's right.
So that you couldn't
My
speak.
name was Rachel.
Well, we're going to get to you in a very second because you joined Etzel when you're 14 years old. I just want to talk about your brother for a second. So you didn't see your brother for 5.5 years?
That's right. They only allowed my mother to go once a month.
And did she?
She did, of course. And I sent a lot of stuff to my brother because he made he did lots of nice things. He was very lucky that he didn't go nuts. Yosef went nuts.
Yosef is the other guy.
Yosef Rosnitsky.
So
I'll tell you who Yosef Rosnitsky is. His sister, Amira, was married to Ben Eliezer. that also sat in Jerusalem had 12 years. They gave years 12, 15, 20, like nothing.
Now tell me, when you're, so the war is on, World War I is on,
World War II. That's okay.
Sorry.
That's all right.
And you're 14.
You want to eat something?
No, I'm good so far. If you want to eat, we can stop. It's not a problem. Or just tell me when you're.
Okay. I'll take you to Prime 10. That's a kosher restaurant.
Hold on.
Okay.
You're 14 years old. 1942. You're 14, right? 42, 43. You're 14 years
14.
old.
I was born in 28.
28. So
according
42.
to the witnesses.
According to the Polish
witnesses.
To the witnesses. Your brother's kidnapped. Your other brother.
It's in Jerusalem.
Yitzhak, what is he doing in Jerusalem?
Got 7 years. He was discharged with the state of Israel 4.5 years later.
Wait, Yitzhak?
היה משפט.
על מה?
Mickey Mouse. Okay. He and Yaakov Handler, his friend, they sat in the front of the bus. הייתה הלשנה מההגנה.
רגע, אח שלך, יצחק, הוא חבר בלח"י?
אצ"ל.
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 אוקיי.
היה בארגון צבאי לאומי.
אוקיי.
והם אמרו, אני אגיד את זה באנגלית, that the ammunition that they found in the bus, at the end of the bus, the last seat, it's across the bus.
So he's on a bus, he's driving on a bus with his friend.
With his friend.
In Tel Aviv?
From Ramat Gan to Tel Aviv.
Okay, they're driving on the bus stops.
They stopped the bus, and they went and took Itzik and Yaakov, and they arrested him. Didn't know why. Later we found out that they claimed that the ammunition in the bus belonged to them.
Okay.
And they both, there was a Mickey Mouse mishpat.
The British?
In Jerusalem.
In Jerusalem, at the Russian compound?
Yes. I didn't go to my mother told me. They only allowed my parents to go to
What year is this?
1944.
Okay.
And he was released in 48 with the Hakamat HaMedina.
So was he in the prison in the Russian compound in Jerusalem?
Yes.
Asirei HaMachtarot?
Yeah.
He sat in that prison.
Yes, I went there.
Barazani and Feinstein blew themselves up.
Of course, I know him very well, and I knew Dov Gruner. I went to visit him once a month. In the Lehi, I worked in the Lehi. I'll tell you where I worked. Because I spoke English very well, I went ברמת גן, ברמת גן, למעלה.
בלח"י או באצ"ל?
לא, בזמן המלחמה, מלחמת העצמאות.
רגע, אנחנו נגיע לזה.
So
you have two brothers.
One is in Kenya.
One is in Kenya, and one is in the Russian compound in Jerusalem.
Correct.
They're both in prison.
Correct.
You joined the Etzel.
Yeah, together.
At 14.
When my brother was kidnapped in 1942.
Is that what triggered you?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
To go in?
Triggered me and my other brother Itzik.
So you and Itzik joined Etzel together?
Right.
Together?
He, that's what he told me, but I think he was in Etzel before.
Okay.
He just didn't want me to know.
Gotcha.
Right.
He was protecting you.
Yes.
Which an older
my
brother should
parents put סרוגים, אתה יודע מה זה סרוגים?
מה, לחלונות? They put metal on.
Right, so I couldn't, so
that you couldn't what?
Okay.
They were worried about you?
Yes, so we had a meeting on the porch.
Who's we?
Me, my ma, and my dad. And I said, this was the second meeting after they had the meeting with my older brother, and I says, אמא ואבא תשמעו. אני חברה באצ"ל, אני אגיד לכם אותו הדבר מה שפסח אמר. עד גיל 18 הוא היה שייך לכם, ואחר כך הוא שייך למדינה. אני גם שייכת למדינה.
אבל את בת 14.
נכון. אז האמא שלי אמרה ככה ביידיש, Du wirst mich begruben, wenn ich nach seiner Jinge froh.
English.
You will bury me and I'll be still a young woman.
What were you saying?
It was a difficult time in Israel. I feel now that I'm a mother and I have kids and grandmother, I realized how my mother was beside herself. My dad was different because he felt that we need to fight the British. And
but your mother was a mother.
But the problem was, now I'm going to get political.
It's fine.
That the left was worse than the British. I'm so sorry to say that.
Listen, it's
a fact.
You're entitled to say this.
It's a fact.
You have to understand that, Anne, that there's
people
have opinions.
No, for years the left hated the right, you know what they thought? They thought that Eretz Israel shayachet lahem. I'm telling you. The fact was, you don't have to listen to me. How did Begin come to Israel? He was dressed as an Orthodox Jew. He grew a beard. He was a Litvak.
Here, look at me, yeah?
Grew a beard.
I want to ask you,
Sure.
I want to ask you, because, there's a lot of things that I want to talk to you about.
Sure.
At the age of 14, after your brother Pesach is
At the age of 14, it's like 25 here.
Right. So you join the Etzel.
Correct. I was in Beitar.
You crossed that line from being in Beitar as a youth into, you're 14.
Right.
14 years old.
Yes. But 14, I knew how to sew, I knew how to clean.
Did you know how to shoot a gun?
I knew how to shoot a gun. Later they taught me in Etzel.
Where do you go to swear your allegiance to the Etzel? With the Bible, the gun?
We didn't have a Bible.
No Bible.
In those days, you just joined.
You just joined. Where'd you go? Where'd you join? What'd you do?
I knew who it was. I knew.
Who?
Gee, I don't remember.
But where in Tel Aviv did you go? Did you go?
La Metzuda.
La Metzuda. On King George Street. Now,
Lemata.
Do you remember the day that Stern was killed?
No, but I know the place where he was killed.
Yes, but you were in Tel Aviv at the time.
Yeah, he was killed by Shabazi Bet.
Mizrahi Bet.
Shabazi Bet.
Shabazi Bet, okay.
Shabazi Bet.
I know the story, I just wanted to know if you...
וקראו לזה אחר כך
שטרן.
חושר מספר 8. חנה הרמוני הייתה שמה, הייתה חברה שלי. בעלה נהרג כשפרצו את עכו.
את עכו.
ועשו מוזיאום למעלה.
כן.
הוא גר בבית של סבוריי.
סבוריי, נכון. שהיה בבית חולים.
ואשתו.
בטעות האורח שלנו, ואז הם עלו על זה.
לא, תראה, תכף אני אגיד לך. הוא נאסר, תפסו אותו, ואת אשתו לא תפסו. מי שבא לבקר אותו, הלכו אחריו.
כן.
ואז ידעו שאברהם שטרן גר אצלו בבית, למעלה, על הגג. ככה ידעו איפה ששטרן. זה היה, הייתי אז זה היה בפלורנטין.
כן, כן.
איך אני מכיר טוב מאוד את פלורנטין? מפני שהדודה שלי, לא היה בית מלאכה ברחוב פלורנטין, בפלורנטין, והיא גרה בפלורנטין, ואחר כך הם קנו צריף במכבי, בשכונת מכבי. זה היה בצד שמאל, בדרך יפו תל אביב, שהלכת ליפו.
Tell me, when you join the Etzel, what kind of things are they making you? Are they giving you assignments immediately, or are you?
No, הרבה קרוזים.
Okay.
קרוזים,
Now,
בלילות.
if you get caught, you're in. Excuse me for my language. You're in a shitload of trouble.
That's right, but I didn't get caught.
Okay.
Because we watched very easily. There was Otzer after 12 o'clock. we put the cruising up after 12 o'clock.
Okay.
And the British didn't go, they didn't go like a van here. They drove in very small, what do you call them?
Jeeps?
Not jeeps. Tanks.
Tanks.
Small tanks. We put the cruising up and we went on the streets מחצר לחצר.
Okay, so you stayed off the streets.
Stayed off the streets.
You went, and what kind of leaflets were you putting up?
הייתה
של העצם.
פעולה.
And you would do this in groups of how many people? 2. One would be looking out, and one would be putting them up.
Correct.
And you did this in different neighborhoods in Tel Aviv, or yeah?
Different neighborhoods in Tel Aviv.
Different neighborhoods.
I did it for the Etzel and I did it for Lehi.
You did it for Lehi too.
Correct. As a matter of fact, we went to lunch this past 2 weeks ago, Sunday.
Uh-huh.
And Aliza, her last name was a very known Mapainik name. There's a hospital after the name.
Kaplan.
לא קפלן.
Wolfson.
לא. זה בבאר שבע.
Soroka.
Soroka.
Yeah.
Her last name was Soroka.
Okay.
And her husband, Shlomo, may he rest in peace, was a Beitanik through and through. Mm-hmm. So she says to me, I remember the time when כל הכרוזים היו על הבתים ועל הרחובות. ואני רציתי לקרוא מה שכתוב שם. Okay. ואני לא ידעתי שאת הדבקת כרוזים. שאני הזכרתי לה איפה שהדבקנו באיזה רחובות, ובזמנו, אתה יודע, אני מכירה אותה כבר הרבה שנים. כן. אז היא הזכירה לי את הזמן.
אז את תולה כרוזים גם ללחי וגם, so the לחי knows...
עכשיו אני רוצה להגיד לך משהו. I'll tell you in English. In 1942, my brother was kidnapped.
Yep.
I was 14.
Yeah.
So me and my brother
Yitzhak
joined the Etzel.
Yeah.
In 44,
he gets arrested.
אני פרשתי ללח"י. I was so upset.
With the Etzel?
I didn't have enough. רציתי יותר עבודה, רציתי לעשות יותר.
אז פרשת מהאצ"ל?
ללח"י.
ללח"י.
ב-44.
יש לי שאלה. איך עושים את זה? איך אתה פורש מהאצ"ל?
אני אגיד לך. קיבלתי מכות מהאצ"ל. בגלל זה שפרשתי. מי שעזר לי זה היה חבר של פסח, יהודה. I don't know Yehuda's last name. He was a teacher, tall. But I knew Yehuda was in the Lehi. That I knew.
Okay.
And I knew some of Pesach's friends that were in the Lehi that they were taking. Somehow they didn't take Yehuda to the Lehi. So I said to Yehuda, I want to join the Lehi. I do remember the guy that in the book, in the lexicon of Lehi, there is the name of Tzila. She was my partner. Okay. And the guy that was our madrich was Dov. Okay. That's all I knew. His Dov.
That's how it worked. You knew two people. You were
just two people.
That's it. You didn't know anybody else.
No.
It was designed in a way that you couldn't know anybody else.
Correct. That's right.
Right.
They were very careful.
Very careful.
Now I saw the
באיזה שנה את עוברת מהאצ"ל ללח"י?
44.
אחרי שאח השני שלך, יצחק, נעצר.
אז אימא שלי חזרה היא ואבא חזרו מירושלים. והיא אמרה לי איזה משפט זה, הם עשו משפט, זה היה צחוק. נתנו לו 7 שנים. He got 7 years of Turkish, which is 8 months a year, 56 months. And he was released Yitzhak was released with Hakamat HaMedina. And he was sent to Atlit. Mm-hmm. They all, from from the Jerusalem prison. I'll tell you, there was one guy who was very religious, a rabbi, Rabbi Ariel Levine.
הרב אריאל לוין. אני גר ברחוב שקרוי על שמו בירושלים.
Yeah. He was a wonderful.
עכשיו.
He walked every day
To the Russian compound.
to the Russian compound.
I live on his street now.
Yeah.
Where I live now in Jerusalem is Rehov Rabbi Ariel Levine.
Right. Let me tell you, when I came with my parents the first time
To visit your brother in jail?
in jail,
In
it
Jerusalem?
was Friday. We went to Jaffa to take the bus, and we arrived in Jerusalem. It was already Shabbos. So we met somehow the rabbi, so we stayed in his house for Shabbos.
Ariel Levine.
Ariel
What can
Levine.
you tell me about him?
His house,
I know where his house
It's
is. His house
nothing.
is right next to my house where I live now.
I don't know if it's the same house, but it was awful.
בנחלאות, בשכונת נחלאות.
נורא, נורא ואיום. לפי שראינו כבר בתל אביב, but he was a wonderful guy. There is a museum now. I went there a few times. Every time I'm in Israel, I go to the Russian compound, and I go to the תא, איפה אחי היה, מספר 18.
כן.
So it's different. A lot of...
Why did you say his house was נורא?
היה כל כך אורים אביין.
מה היה?
ביידיש אומרים, אתה יודע מה זה אביון?
כן.
הוא היה אביון.
כן.
לא היה לו
הוא היה צדיק.
מאוד, היה מאוד. הוא היה בן אדם יוצא מן הכלל.
So you remember meeting him?
כמה פעמים. וגם פגשתי את אחותו של דוב גרונר, כשהוא הלך לגרדום. אני זוכרת שהלח"י וגם האצ"ל עבדו יחד.
האצ"ל והלח"י, כן, כמובן. אבל אני רוצה לחזור שנייה, כי
בסדר.
את פורשת מהאצ"ל, כי הם לא נותנים לך מספיק משימות.
אני הייתי מאוד כועסת.
כן, אני יכול להבין את זה, עם שני אחים בכלא, אני יכול מאוד להבין את זה. אני יכול רק להבין את זה. אני לא יכול לשפוט את זה. אני יכול רק לנסות להבין את זה.
אני לא הבנתי את ההורים שלי.
כן.
את היגון שלהם.
כן.
It was different. I didn't understand. I was young.
And you're 14, 15,
And my
16
mother
years
was,
old.
I do remember certain things, that when both my brothers were taken, my mother used to get up at night, והיא רצה לים, האבא הלך אחריה, והוא אמר, חנה, תבוא יחד איתי. והיא רצה ישר לים, רצתה לטבוע את עצמה, אבא לקח אותה על הידיים, לקח אותה הביתה. הייתה מאוד חולה במובן הזה. היא לא יכלה להבין איך יהודים יכלו לחטוף, איך יהודים יכולים לעשות מה שהם עשו. הרי זה לא רק היה בשבילנו. השמאל, אני לא רוצה לדבר, עכשיו יש לנו ארץ יפה מאוד, וארץ מאוד חזקה, אבל בזמנו,
זה חשוב מאוד
בזמנו,
לדבר על הדברים האלה, כי הדברים האלה אסור שהם יישכחו בהיסטוריה. בגלל זה, זה מאוד חשוב שאנחנו מדברים על זה.
אני רוצה שתדע משהו.
כן.
היה מאוד קשה לבלוע שיהודים חטפו אחד את השני.
כמובן.
הייתה כל כך שנאה גדולה, אני יכולה רק להגיד את זה בעברית, בין הימין ובין השמאל. הימין היה מאוד קטן,
כן.
והשמאל היה גדול. כל הקיבוצים.
כל הקיבוצים,
נתניה הייתה ימנית.
נתניה, כן, הייתה רוויזיוניסטית?
רוויזיוניסטית.
אוקיי.
חיפה, קראנו לזה. אדומה.
עד היום, זה העיר האדומה.
חיפה האדומה, ככה קראנו
כן,
לזה.
כן. העיר האדומה, עדיין קוראים לחיפה העיר האדומה.
בירושלים היה קצת אחרת.
ירושלים זה היה באמת קצת אחרת, היה לך שכונות כאלה או שכונות כאלה.
אבל ירושלים הייתה קטנה.
כן.
הרי לא היה לנו את העיר העתיקה.
נכון. לא, אבל אבל כל הסנטימנטים האלה שיש לך כלפי השמאל, הם באים מאיזשהו מקום. זה בא מאיפשהו. זה לא סתם שככה גידלו אותך.
אני רוצה שתדע משהו.
נכון?
מי שניהל, אני הכרתי את כל הבלשים של אנגליה, היות וה-CAD was ברחוב דרך יפו תל אביב, וזה היה בית של 3, 4 או 5 קומות, ולמעלה הייתה שכונה גרמנית, ואז היה the English High School for Girls.
And you went to that school?
Right. Why did I go to that school?
I was going to ask you why.
I'll tell you why.
Please.
My parents couldn't afford to send me to gymnasia. It was extremely expensive. And my mother says, I believe that you need an education, but you... רציתי ללכת לגימנסיה בלפור, זה היה ברחוב מלצ'ט.
Close to the house?
ברחוב מלצ'ט מה זה?
Right next to the house.
Correct. להרצליה לא הייתי מתקבלת, זה היה מאוד שמאלני. בלפור היה יותר בינוני. And so, my girlfriend went to Allianz. I had a girlfriend, Sarah. Sarah says to me, חנלה, בואי נלך לבית ספר האנגלי ביפו, ואם נעבור את הבחינות, אנחנו יכולים ללכת לשם בלי כסף.
Why was it free?
Because they wanted to change you to be a Christian.
Oh.
Yeah, it was a British school.
It was like an Anglican church kind of school or something?
I don't know if it was a church.
Okay.
The girls, it was called English High School for Girls, and the boys was St. John. It was
Gotcha.
more in Jaffa. So we went. Whether we passed or not, they said we passed, and we both went to the English High School for Girls.
Which is in Jaffa, right next to the clock tower.
No, further.
Further in? More in?
Up. Yeah, it was right next to the CID.
Next to the CID building.
I knew exactly when they came, when they left.
So were you spying?
Oh, yeah, I was a spy for the Etzel, too, for the Lechi.
How old were you? 14, 15, 16?
Yeah.
What kind of, what would you,
I had a boyfriend, also from the Lechi. He was German, and he did not look Jewish, neither did I. I had strawberry blonde hair, and I didn't have a Jewish nose, and I spoke English really nicely without an accent. And so him and I went as a boyfriend, as a boy and a girl, and we followed the British. They told us who to follow. And they used to go, I don't know if you know Rehov Allenby in Tel Aviv.
Of course.
Allenby, before you get Hayarkon Street.
Like that's where the beginning of Allenby is, right at the beach. Allenby.
That's right, מספר אחד. בצד שמאל היה בית גדול. מוגרבי זה היה באמצע.
קולנוע מוגרבי.
קולנוע מוגרבי היה באמצע.
אוקיי.
זה יותר למטה על יד החוף.
אוקיי.
ושם היה an American pub.
אוקיי.
קפה אמריקאי קראו לזה.
אוקיי.
ושם באו כל הבריטים. היות והחבר שלי היה גבוה, והוא לא נראה יהודי בכלל, ואני לא נראית יהודייה, ודיברתי איתו אנגלית, אז הלכנו, we spied.
Okay. So you go into the pub?
We went into the pub, and we saw all the...
And you would just
listen to what they said.
And you guys did this a few times?
All the time.
All the time?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, when I joined Kerr, when I was there for some time, Frank W. Kerr, where I worked, they took it. That was Bill Davidson's company.
Right.
And there was a fellow by the name of Robert Selig, and he was Jewish, and he was not much of a, I helped him out a lot. He said to me, tell me. So I went ahead, and I told him the story about the English High School for Girls, and I became a spy for the Lechi. He went ahead and he printed it. He brought the people
When
in.
was this?
I have it downstairs. I'll show it to you. We'll go downstairs.
Well, yeah.
I'll show it to you.
Yeah.
So it was There was an article, a spy turns to be an executive. I will show it to you.
So is this guy, this boyfriend of yours, is it like really a boyfriend, or it's just part of the...
Just part of the game.
Part of the game.
Right.
How old are you? You're like 14,
15 maybe at that time, already 15.
Do you remember some of the names of the CID agents that you knew, or do you remember any of them? Or
well, the one that we wanted to kill was Vilkis.
Was who?
His name was, I forgot his first name, his last name was Vilkis. He took 11 bullets in Jerusalem.
Was he connected to Stern's assassination?
Yes.
Yes. There was Wilkins and Morton.
Yeah.
They were the big...
Morton is in Cairo.
Right, he was taken care of in Cairo, right?
Morton killed Stern.
Right, right.
And Vilkis had a name that he was torturing the boys, something terrible. He knew, I'll tell you something. Maybe I shouldn't, it's passé. Kibbutz Yagur.
Mm-hmm.
In Kibbutz Yagur, כל הנשק של השמאל היה שמה, and the British came and left as they wanted to. And one day Vilkis went in there and he confiscated כל הנשק בקיבוץ יגור. That's when the small made a pact with the Etzel, פעולה משותפת. And the Lehi.
תנועת המרי.
Okay.
Which lasted for about a year and a half.
Maybe.
ליל הקשרים, כל מיני דברים כאלה. It ended when the Etzel blew up the King David Hotel. That's when it was. What's that?
1946.
46, yeah. So.
And I knew the King David. That's where they all stayed.
Yeah.
Okay. The King David was not available for people. It was only for the British in those days.
Yeah.
And they blew it up. They should have blown up the whole thing, in my opinion. Yeah, it was.
So let me.
My mother was very much worried.
So your mother and father must be very worried about you now because you're the only child they have left who's not in jail.
Right.
You've moved from the Etzel to the Lehi. Are you happy that you made this move from the Etzel to the Lehi?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, because ideologically it's kind of the same, but it's just a little bit more
strong, active. And they said, the המנון היה אחר לגמרי.
כן. זה יצחק שמיר, נתן ילין מור, וישראל אלדד.
אלדד הוא היה רופא. הוא היה מאוד.
לא, הוא היה פרופסור.
רופא היה.
הוא היה פרופסור מאוד.
אלדד.
יש סרט מאוד מפורסם שלו, עם ליבוביץ', עם ישעיהו ליבוביץ'. The two of them together.
מישיגן.
Driving each other crazy. I'll show it to you.
Really?
It's from, זה מהטלוויזיה הישראלית מ-1980.
וואו.
שלחו אותם למעלות, ושניהם, הוא ימין, הוא שמאל.
Yeah,
they put him in a car, and they go up to Ma'alot, and they're arguing the whole, it's a very brilliant documentary.
He was
anyways,
Eldad.
Eldad. What is your name in the Lehi?
רחל.
רחל. והשם שלך באצ"ל?
לא זוכרת.
לא זוכרת. השם שלך בלח"י זה רחל.
כן, לא הייתי הרבה זמן באצ"ל.
לא היית הרבה זמן באצ"ל?
לא
כמה זמן היית באצ"ל?
maybe אולי שנה. אני רציתי יותר action.
I know. Listen, I have a very important question to ask you. It's almost 12 o'clock now.
Yes.
And we've been almost talking for 2 hours.
Right.
And we haven't even finished. I wanted to ask you if it is possible, because I want to do this interview properly. I don't want to rush. Mm-hmm. And after 2 hours, it gets a little, it's a little tiring. Is there any chance that I can come back tomorrow morning?
Yeah. Tomorrow morning?
Tomorrow
What time?
morning.
But you're leaving tomorrow night.
I'm leaving tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm leaving tomorrow night. אני אפילו עוצר שנייה את המצלמה, כי אני רוצה... רגע.